wants us to press the run button as soon as the compute, of course, is up and running, and then we'll complete the exercise as is in the GitHub. And we'll do the image classification exercise here. Okay. And now you can see that the compute AI 900, it's up and running. So now I can actually run my code here. So I can play the run cell, click on the run cell, and I will see some output here, cloning into AI fundamentals. It's receiving objects, etc. So it pulls the entire information from the GitHub and puts it in under my user files right here. Now, it's checking out the files, and it's done. Now, as you can see, I don't see anything here yet, but let me just press the refresh button right here. And here we are. There is now a new folder called AI Fundamentals, where we can see all the exercises right here. So here we are. We've opened the notebook, image classification, and as we can scroll down, we will see the exercise. First of all, it will ask me to create a custom vision resource. So let's do this right away. I'll go back to the portal, and as you can see here, it will ask me to create a custom vision with the training pricing tier F0. Okay, so let's do that right away. I'm in the portal. I'll click resource groups right here. And here I have my AI fundamentals resource group. And let me create something in here. So I'll press the add button and I'll type in custom vision. And here we are. I'll press the create button. And of course, we'll need to give it some basic information. So we'll have both the training and prediction. We have our internal subscription. We have our resource group AI fundamentals, and we'll call it a name, and that will be the AI 900 custom vision. Is it already taken? It is already taken. So let's call it the AI fundamentals custom vision. That's still free. Then I'll need to specify my training resources. I want it obviously in the West Europe. I'm from the Netherlands. Pricing tier, I'll use the standard tier. You can use the free tier, but I'll probably have already some resources running. So then the free tier will not work. So I'll choose the standard here. I'm also going to select this one, West Europe. Pricing tier will be the standard tier. And I'll go to review and create. I'll create this. And while this is creating, let's check what our next exercise is. So I'll go back to the machine learning surface, scroll down, and next up in the exercise, it wants me to create a custom vision project. And it will, I need to download and extract training images from aka.ms/fruit images. So let's do this right away. I'll go here. Now, if I open this in a folder, I can see that there is now a zip file called training-images. So let me unzip this and extract all. Okay, great, extract. It will give me a new folder here. And within that are 3 folders: apple, banana, and orange. Apple will contain pictures of apples. You see some red apples here, some green apples, etc. Now, if I go back here to banana, you might be surprised that there are banana pictures in this. Okay, and the same, of course, goes for orange. It's not an orange folder, but it contains some oranges. So we have that. Now let's go back here. And it wants me to open in another browser tab the custom vision portal. So I can right click on this and then open in a new tab. Don't click on it, folks, otherwise it will open that link and it will shut down this studio. So open in a new tab. And here we are. Visual intelligence made easy. I'll sign in. And here we are. And what do we need to do? Well, we need to create a new project called Grocery Checkout, which I'll copy right away here. And it needs to be a classification project type and a multi-class classification type. And then we're gonna add some the pictures that we downloaded before, and we'll take the domain food, because the algorithm that we're going to use is already a little bit familiar with types of food, so that will help us in our predictions. Okay, so let's go to Custom Vision Projects. I'll create a new project here. The project name I just copied, so I just paste it here in fruits. And let's see, it's a classification, it is a multi-class, and the domain is food. So click on that, and that will create the project. Now this will create a new sort of workspace where I can do various things in. I can add the images, I can see if they are tagged, so if they have like almost like a clothing tag attached to them, and then we can start training this model. So first of all, what we can see here is in the center of the screen, there is add images. We'll need these, the training images. I'll go towards apple, and here I'll select all the apples in the image, Control A, I'll open them, and here we have them. Now, at the bottom of the screen here, you see add some tags to this batch of images. And in this case, my tag will be apple. So every picture here gets tagged with apple. I'll upload the 15 files. And we're done. And now we can see them right here in the center of the screen. As soon as I click on one, you can see a larger image of the apple itself and the tag apple. Okay. So let's add the other two as well. I'll press add images again. I'll go back to training images. Go to banana. And I'll select all the bananas in there. Now I will add a banana tag to them. I'll upload them as well. And as you can see, they will show up right here as well, together with the apples. All nicely together. Now, last but not least, oranges, don't worry. We'll add you as well. So I'll go back to training images, click on orange, and I will select all oranges right here and give them, of course, the appropriate tag, orange. Live typing, always difficult. Okay, they're uploading, and also these 15 images uploaded successfully. Okay, and as you can see now, as I scroll down here, we see oranges, we see bananas in various positions, right? Some here you can see it's laying like this, or the other way around, and we see apples also photographed from different orientations, and even also apples with different colors. Okay. Now at the left side of the screen here, I can see that I have currently showing all the tagged images. If I click on untagged, it will show me all the untagged images, which I do not have any. So close that one as well. So luckily all my images are tagged, and I am completely happy with this. I could filter down here. If I just select apple, then I will only be shown the images of apples. Okay, so now we are ready. We have our images of apples, bananas, and oranges, and now we can train our model. But let me just show you the exercise. Where are we right now? So we've added the images, we've specified a tag, we've done this as well, and now we are going to select the quick training option right here, and then we'll do a quick test. So I'll go back here, I'll do a train model, quick training, I'll press the train button, and now it will start training a algorithm to detect these 3 kinds of fruit. Meanwhile, it will not take a long time, but meanwhile I can show you that we're going to test this through this link, https://aka.ms/appleimage. Now, just to show you this shortly, let me open this link up and paste it in here. And this is the image that we're going to use to test the algorithm. It is a picture of an apple. As you can see now, the training has been completed. It gives a high precision recall and AP. So it's performing quite well. Now let's give it a quick test, as I explained earlier. Clicking the quick test button, and now it will have, I will have to put in the URL. So I'll put in aka.ms/apple image. And here we have again the apple, and now it will give me a prediction based on the algorithm we just trained. Okay, so is absolutely sure, well, 99.9% sure that the picture I have just uploaded is actually an apple. So it's performing quite well. Okay, I'm happy with this. Hopefully you are as well. So let's close this now and publish this, right? And make it available. So in performance, and then on the left side here, I have the publish button. So I'll click that. I have a model name, which is groceries. And then I'll choose a source here. And I'll press publish. Okay, so the model is now published, which is great. And I'll need some information now. So let me just go up to the top right of the screen. There's this little gear icon. I can press it, it will show me some information. Let me copy the project ID here, which is as well requested in the exercise. So if I now go back to the exercise, and I'll scroll down a little bit, it says here, after publishing, click the settings icon and copy the project ID. Okay, in the code below. So if I scroll down in the code below, then it selects this box. So let me delete this and then paste in the project ID. Now, to avoid confusion here, we did this, and then it will tell you something, because I need the information which is called a key and an endpoint. And if I go back here, I can see a key and an endpoint, but this is not the correct one, because this is from our training, and we need to go to our prediction. So I go to the top left here, click the I button here, and now I can, on the right side, I can click the gear button right here, and then I have here the top one is the one that contains the correct key. Copying this one. And the correct endpoint. Just as easy, you know? Okay. Pasting it right in here. Model name is indeed groceries. So now if I press the run button, it will say ready to predict using model groceries in project. This is the ID of the project. Okay. So I'm gonna install some things here. Because you'll need some custom Python packages for this. But you don't really need to understand this now. You'll just need to run this code. And as you can see, it's actually already installed, so I didn't even have to run it. Okay, and here what it will do, this is a box of code, and let me just quickly simply walk you through it. It will take some images and basically in a loop, it will predict those images. And then it will show me a little plot. Okay, so I'm just going to press the run button right here, scroll down, and here it will say classifying images. And now it will loop through the images and classify each image. And after that is done, it will show me the results. So as you can see, it's still running. There it is. It's done. And now I can see here. I can even scroll down a bit on the right side, but I've given it some apples, some oranges, and some bananas, and they are all classified correctly. So you've seen now how easy it is to create an image classification solution. And there were additional exercises that you can do yourself as well. So if you can go to aka.ms/explore computer vision. That will bring you to 6 modules about the computer vision in Azure. So let's go there now. I'll open it up. I have a tab here open. Let me just press enter here. Okay, and it loads the learning file. Explore computer vision in Microsoft Azure. And remember that we talked about image analysis, analyzing faces, reading text, and analyzing forms. Well, each of these has its own module here. So analyzing images, classifying images, which I just demoed you, detecting objects, detecting faces, reading text, and analyzing receipts with a form recognizer service. So go through these at your own pace and learn more of the services we have to offer. And that brings us to the end of this module. And in this module, we talked about what is computer vision, how do you get information from a picture or from a video, how does an algorithm do that? We talked some of the basics around this, right? We looked at some of the applications of computer vision, some examples here, and then we went into computer vision in Azure, where we looked at image analysis, reading text, analyzing faces, talked about the form analyzer, and I showed you around in the portal and where we created a custom vision service. And remember, we classified bananas, apples, and oranges, and trained and published our model. Let's take another 10-minute break, and I'll see everyone back to begin in 10 minutes to begin Module 4. Welcome back from the break, folks. So now we will be diving into our last modules, Module 4 and Module 5. Module 5 will be around conversational AI, right, bots. And after that, we'll do a recap of the entire course, what we learned today, what we discussed today, and then you're free to go to do all the exercises that I haven't done yet. I haven't demoed yet. There's still a lot there in the Visual Studio Codespace. So with that, let's get started with Module 4. And in this module, we're going to look at natural language processing, also called NLP. It makes it a little bit easier. And we'll start with an introduction, and then we'll go into natural language processing services in Azure. And we'll take a look at those. We'll take a look at text analytics, speech recognition and synthesis, translation, and language understanding. But first, let's look at these words, right? Natural language processing. What is it? Because we have language processing, right? We have programming languages like Python or C# or Ruby, you name it. And you can type a sentence and you can execute the code, and the computer will understand it. But the thing is, the difference here between natural language processing and normal language processing is that a programming language has to be precise. If I make a typo, it will not work. All the developers here can absolutely agree with me, hopefully. And natural language is something else, right? Because it has a large vocabulary, there are words with different meanings, there are accents, dialects, wordplay, and many other things. So that's really the difference here, and that's what we're talking about if we're talking about natural language processing, really how we do language. Now, what are some of the areas in AI? Well, we have text analysis and entity recognition. For you need to analyze a text document, and you need to find out the important points of the important persons mentioned in the text document. So even dates or places could also be, right? And then you can do text analysis, entity recognition to collect those. And an example here would be a company that would do this to analyze industry magazines to see, where are they mentioned or when are their products or executives mentioned. The second one is sentiment analysis, which actually fits this example perfectly because it is a form of text analysis that calculates a score of indicating how positive or negative a text extract is. And in the case of a company that has that searches through these industry magazines, so every time it finds that it's being tagged or some of the products are there in that magazine, it can also check the sentiment of that magazine. So they can investigate how are they being perceived, right, in a positive or a negative daylight. Another example here is a company, has products and it gets reviewed, and then they go through the reviews with the sentiment analysis to see what the average is. And a very common example here is Twitter. And you can go to Twitter and then see the sentiment there of some subjects. Speech recognition and synthesis. So it is increasingly common to encounter AI systems that can recognize spoken language. Right? It's becoming really, really normal. An in-car system, right? You have this hands-free communication because it can read incoming text messages aloud to you, and then you can dictate a response verbally. Or the voice assistant is another great example here. Machine translation. Often there are language barriers if you have international or cross-cultural teams, and eliminating those is a key to success. And being able to translate it into different languages is very important, right? There is some spoken language, and then you automatically get spoken language in a different language back, or an email, or there was in an inbox you can automatically translate messages, or a transcript. So somebody speaks in, for instance, Japanese, and you just see a transcript below the meeting in English, and machine translation. And then we have semantic language modeling. So because language can be complex and nuanced, and multiple phrases might mean the same thing. So where can I get gas near here? If you're looking for, you're almost out of gas and you're driving your car. And it can be the same as what's the location of the closest gas station, or give me directions to a gas station, right? All mean the same thing. And you need a semantic understanding of the language that is being used to see what the driver in this case would need. Right, so it really depends on the situation where we're in. You know, every job has its own language almost, right? So that's semantic language modeling. And if we're looking at the services that we have in Azure, of course, we have our cognitive services, and within the cognitive services, we have text analytics, speech, translator, and language understanding. Now, you can build your own custom NLP models. Absolutely, you can use machine learning, some toolkits. You can use Python, probably other languages as well, but I would really recommend Python. But it's a very complex area, and it will take you a lot of time. You will need the expertise. So why not use something off the shelf that helps you develop your solution way more quickly, and you don't need all the expertise behind it. Right, so in cognitive services related to text analytics, we have the language detection, key phrase extraction, entity detection, and sentiment analysis. And I'll have a short demo on this shortly. We have, for speech, we have text to speech and speech to text, speech translation. And for translator text, we have text translation. And for language understanding, we have the custom language modeling. And we'll get to all those in a minute. So let's start with a little demo here. So you can do this demo yourself at home at aidemo.microsoft.com/textanalytics. So let me just copy this and put it in a browser. So I'm entering this slideshow here and entering it. I already have it here, so I can see it here. aidemos.microsoft.com/text-analytics. Pressing enter here, and it will load this text analytics demo environment, and then you can enter anything you would like. Enter your message here. There's already an example here, but let's do something else. Let's type Microsoft has the AI Fundamentals course, which is a great way to learn the foundation of AI. How about that? So next step, let's see some sentiment and key phrases. The algorithm finds it, and you see here on the right, it's 89% positive, and you see some key phrase here. Microsoft AI Fundamental Scores, Foundation of AI, great ways. So they're highlighted in blue. Next step, we're linking to some entities. So we're gonna link them to Wikipedia pages. Here, if I click it on AI, you can see it brings me to the page of artificial intelligence. So that works. But I can also just list it below by being entity search, and then it provides me relevant information here at the bottom. That's right. Okay, so that's a super easy demo, but it really shows you the power behind it, right? Let's try some other sentences. Let's do natural language processing is the area of AI that deals with making sense of written and spoken language. How about this? Okay. You can see now at the right, 91% positive. Interesting. Natural language processing is highlighted. Area of AI is highlighted. Sense of written and spoken language, you see that highlighted as well. So let's do some entity linking, and let's see if it does natural language processing. Let's see if it does it correctly. Does it bring me to the right page? And yes, it does. So it works. Great. And we're going back. Okay, and then a Bing entity search and provides me this relevant information. Okay. Start over. Let's take this the common sentence here, right? Saturn is the sixth planet, etc. Please clicking next step, and you can see here Saturn, solar system, Jupiter, gas giant, etc. So there's a lot of entities here. Let's see if it finds them all. Yeah, you can see a lot of here: solar system, Jupiter, Sun, Earth. Next step, big entity search, and you can see all this right here. And this just uses this natural language processing, uses sentiment analysis, key phrase extraction, entity linking, and in a very simple demo, right? So let's go back to the slides. So let's continue with the second part of this module that is really using natural language processing services. Let's take a look at each one of them. So the first one is text analytics. And as the name suggests, it is used to analyze text documents. For example, you use the text analysis services to recognize the text, "I had a wonderful vacation in France." And then the service itself, they can determine the language that the text is written in. So it will probably say predominant language, English. Next up, the service, and we had 4, remember? It can evaluate the sentiment of the text. So let's see what a sentiment analysis does. 88% positive, because wonderful, huh? Seen as a positive thing. And the third one is it can detect key phrases. So what would be the key phrase here? Wonderful vacation. And the last thing, this is entity recognition. And well, my guess is that France would be an entity here. And indeed, it correctly identifies France as an entity. Yeah, so really a simple example of text analytics. Now, when we're looking at speech recognition and synthesis, it's a bit different. The speech service provides a speech-to-text API that you can use to implement text recognition functionality. And this service supports text transcription in more than 60 languages. And conversely, the text-to-speech API can synthesize audible speech from text, which with the option to specify regionally appropriate voices for human-like pronunciation. That's the other option. So that's really speech recognition and synthesis. Now, when we're talking about translation, the translator text service enables you to translate text between more than 60 languages. So bonjour to hello. And you can also translate audible speech by using the speech service. And then it has the ability to produce translated output in text or audio format. So you say hello and you get hola in return. And then we're talking about language understanding. And this is also, by the way, known as LUIS. It enables you to train a language model that can interpret natural language commands. So an example here would be switch the light on. And in language understanding, there are 3 things that you have to remember: utterances, entities, and intents. Utterances are phrases that a user might say. Switch the light on, turn the fan off, turn the fan on, turn the heater off, etc. That is an utterance. And an entity is a specific item that is referenced in an utterance. And let's talk about, like, we're doing in home automation here. We're trying to make everything automatic, and we just can say switch the light on, and then the light switches on. An entity in this example would be a light, or a fan, or music. Voice assistant, turn the music on. Could also be something. So then light or fan are entities. So utterances and entities, and the last one is the intent. Because what do we want to do with it? What is our intention? And the intent identifies the desired action for an utterance. So let me just show you a couple of demos here. So I'm still on this side, and let's go to aidemos.microsoft.com/Lewis/demo. And here we are. And now it states, there you see a house, make a statement about lighting and Lewis, and I can either type something or I can say something. So you can see that there are some lights are on and some lights are off. And let's see, because I haven't tested this yet, call Batman. Let's see what it does. And there you go. See? Hey, call Batman. So just a very short and short demo of how this works. And you can also type something here, or just or click one of the examples here, and then you can see that indeed it processes the language and then performs the actions. Just a very short demo. Okay. With that, let's go to another lab at aka.ms/learnlewis. Okay, and here we are in the exercise, create a language understanding application. And if I now go to notebooks, remember we've already cloned the GitHub repository. Now I just need to select the appropriate exercise, which is language understanding. And here we are. Okay, so in this exercise, we are going to create a language understanding. So let's do this first. Language understanding. Let's go towards the portal. I'll select the AI Fundamentals Resource Group. I'll click the Add button, and then I'll do language. And luckily, it already auto-completes it for me, so that saves me a little bit of time. And let's create it. My subscription and resource group are already there, and now I just need to give it a name. So AI Fundamentals Language. That is still free, so that's good. Now I need to select a location for both the authoring and the prediction. Well, of course, since I am from the Netherlands, we're going to take West Europe, and here also West Europe. Okay, awesome. Next, I'm going to review and create. Looks all good. So let's create this. So while this is validating, we'll only take a couple of seconds to deploy. Let's go back to the exercise. Make sure you choose the free tier. So if you were observant, you saw that I chose the standard tier because I cannot have too many free tiers running at the same time. So for me, it was the standard tier, but you can just go for the free tier. Okay, now then we need to create a language understanding application. And we're going to do this in a new browser tab. So don't click on this lewis.ai, but do a right click and then open in a new tab. And then we're going to create something called home automation, which I'll copy right away. And we're going to give it the language understanding prediction resource. So right click here, open new tab. Okay, I'll log in. It will ask for my credentials, and it already knew these. So here we are. Okay, I'll need to choose a subscription, which is my Azure internal subscription. Choose an author and resource. Here we go. Okay, now I'll create a new app for conversation. What was the name again that it wanted me to give? Oh, wait, yeah. Home automation, culture English. So go back here. Home automation, culture English. I give it a description here. Just a description. And here I choose the AI Fundamentals Language. I'll press done. And here we are. Now, of course, there is a little bit of a walkthrough here, but let's close this for now. You can do this when you're exploring this in your own time. And now we have something here. You see on the left side, intents, entities, pre-built domains. I'll go here, create an entity, create, I call it device. It's a list. Press create. And we have created our first entity called device. Under normalized values, I'll type in light, and the synonym here will be lamp. I'll add another one, AC. Oh, this should be lamp, and this should be fan. So I've added these two values now, and their synonyms. Okay, so go towards intents here. I'm going to click the create button switch on. And here we have it. Switch on. You can see it at the top right here. And now we need to add some utterances. And that's it. Turn the light on. And it will automatically underline the light here since that is a device. So next up, I'm adding a second utterance to the same one, which is turn the fan on. And press enter. Turn the fan on. Okay. Next up, we're going to create a new intent, which we call switch off. And then in this intent, we're going to add two utterances, turn the light off and turn the fan off. I'll go to intents. And then I'm going to type switch off. Add that as well, and then add some utterances. So I've already had this copied, so I'll press enter here, and I'll paste it again, but change this one to fan. And again, it recognizes automatically the devices in the sentence there. Okay, so I've added the intents, I've added the utterances. So we're done with the create intents part, and now we're going to train and test our model. So we're going to train the model, and then we're going to test the model, and we're going to copy in some phrases here. So let me just copy one themselves. I'm only going to show you one, but if you're doing the exercise yourself, you can try out the others as well. So let's go back here to the Lewis, and then on the top right, you'll see a button with a red circle around it. Press trained, train. Now, in this case, it will start training the app and start recognizing the utterances, and that will only take a couple of seconds. Here we are. And now I can actually go to, you see that the green circle, it's now green. Before it was red, so it's now a trained model, and now I can test it right here. I can test an utterance by typing switch the light on. I press enter, and it indeed will find the switch on. So that's good. It works. Great. So let's close this again. And now we will publish the model, and we will configure the endpoints a little bit in the same way that we've done before with the with the image classification. So we'll publish it. We'll go for a production slot. So it's now published, and now I can go to the Management tab and select the application ID right here. Press the copy button, and I'll need it in this exercise right here. Yeah, let's see here, it will ask me for my Lewis language understanding application ID, so I can just paste this in there. Now, of course,